Hello, good evening and welcome to ITV News. This is Friday night's calendar.
Here are tonight's main stories.
A truly wicked act, a judge's words for the crack cocaine user who bludgeoned to death a Sheffield mother, described as one in a million.
Clean bill of health. We find out how, for many people like 10-year-old Hibber from Leeds here, regular toothbrushing can mean the difference between life and death.
We do understand there's many studies out there to show that there is a relationship between gum disease and heart conditions, Alzheimer's, cancer, oral hygiene, brushing the teeth regularly, not just a healthy mouth but also a healthy body as well.
Trail of destruction. A stolen digger does hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of damage to this historic pub. So far, there's no clue as to why it was targeted.
Literally cannot think of anybody that would do this. Put a reward out to hopefully try and bring some names forward and serve them just like they deserve. It's horrible.
And I'm at the Sheffield Arena, which tomorrow night plays host to a big night of boxing as Leeds' Josh Warrington aims to become a three-time world champion.
But first tonight, a postman from Sheffield who murdered a mother of three with what a judge called an unrelenting avalanche of violence is tonight starting a life sentence.
Mark Nichols was high on crack cocaine when he bludgeoned Emily Sanderson with a dumbbell. Her body went undiscovered in his house for 11 days before police forced their way in.
Today, she was described as an incredible person who was deeply and dearly loved. Ben Bason's followed the case at Sheffield Crown Court, and a warning, you may find some of the details upsetting.
The court today heard that Emily Sanderson worked on occasion as an escort and that Mark Nichols had in the past been a client of hers. That was the evening of the 19th of May this year. She visited his house on Crofton Avenue in Hillsborough. Now, she'd been there for over an hour when something apparently angered Nichols and he attacked her. And she was on the phone to a taxi company booking a taxi at the time, and the audio of that call was played in court today. Halfway through, a muffled scream could be heard, followed by several loud thuds. The phone line then went silent. Well, Nichols had bludgeoned her to death using a dumbbell, striking at least 13 blows to her head. His defence barrister said that he'd been under the influence of alcohol and crack cocaine at the time. Well, in the days following the murder, Nichols was seen by his neighbours digging in his garden. Now, he told them he was filling in a pond, but the judge said he had no doubt whatsoever that it was Nichols' plan to bury the body of Emily Sanderson in his garden. And that body lay undiscovered for 11 days. It was on the 30th of May that police forced entry to the house and found her in a front bedroom wrapped in packing materials, her hands and feet bound with parcel tape. Well, just days later, Nichols handed himself into a police station, having admitted what he'd done to his parents. Well, Emily's friends and family packed out the public gallery here at Sheffield Crown Court today. Many of them turned up to the hearing dressed in T-shirts with Emily's face on the front of them. And in a personal impact statement, which was read in court on behalf of Emily's mother, Christine, she described her as an incredible person who was deeply and dearly loved. "I've had the daughter I loved taken away," she said. "I've had to experience every parent's nightmare and live through the death of my own child." She added that the manner in which she was killed will haunt the family forever. Well, sentencing Nichols in court today, the judge, Jeremy Richardson KC, called the murder an extremely violent attack on a defenceless and vulnerable woman. He said Nichols visited an unrelenting avalanche of violence on her. Well, Mark Nichols, who appeared in court today dressed in a light grey suit and a white shirt, appeared calm as he was sentenced to life with a minimum of 17 and a half years. Concluding his remarks, after a brief pause, the judge said, "It was a truly wicked act. Take him down." Ben Mason, ITV News at Sheffield Crown Court.
It's been revealed that 9 alleged cases of rape have been reported at Harrogate Military College in a little over a year. A Freedom of Information request showed that in the 13 months to August 2023, there were 13 reports to police of sexual offences on the site. They were 9 rapes, 2 sex assaults and 2 allegations of voyeurism. A British Army spokesperson said it has a zero tolerance policy on sexual offences.
Next to the £10,000 reward on offer to catch the driver of a stolen digger who went on the rampage, causing major structural damage to a historic pub.
The Mucky Duck is a Grade 2 listed building in the North Nottinghamshire village of Drackholes, but it's now got a gaping hole in its wall after the attack.
The owners say it was targeted and well organised, and they have no idea of who could be responsible or why. Holly Goodall has more.
This was the moment a stolen digger was senselessly rammed into a historic pub in North Nottinghamshire, tearing a hole through the Grade 2 listed building and through the family-run business, leaving staff anxious about their future.
I think they've all been terrified that they're going to lose the jobs. If we're going to, I mean, they know how much money we've put into it already. They're going to think, what's going to happen with reopening it? Yeah, we've only just got a good team going with it, and just panicking that if they're not going to come back, then we've got no business with it.
The Mucky Duck in Drakeholes was targeted around midnight last Wednesday evening in what appears to be a carefully planned attack.
It's targeted that building twice. It's gone in, come back out, gone in again. And then it's turned to the side, running all this furniture over and ploughed into the sides of the building here. One at that window here, one at this window here. And then as he's going out, he's gone to that window and he's hit it about 3 or 4 times. And then he's gone, there's a canal here. There's another lad with a torch down there outside of the canal. He's gone down to the canal, and it must have been planned because they'd stolen a ladder from a property up there. They put the ladder across the canal, and they've gone out, and a car was parked in the field, and they've got in the car and gone.
Nothing was stolen and damage inside was limited, but the cost of repairing the building is estimated at around £200,000. Despite the CCTV footage, there are no clear leads, and according to the family, no obvious motives behind the vandalism. The family are now offering a £10,000 reward for any information that could help.
Because we literally cannot think of anybody that would do this, put a reward out to hopefully try and bring some names forward and serve them just like they deserve. It's horrible.
In a statement, Detective Sergeant Jackie Price of Nottinghamshire Police said, "We're at a very early stage of our investigation, but we want to hear from anyone with information, CCTV or dashcam footage which could help our inquiries. We are determined to track down those responsible."
The building has been a coaching house and later a pub for hundreds of years. The family hopes soon to put things behind them and be able to reopen their doors to the community. Holly Goodall, ITV News in Drakeholes.
You're watching Calendar with James Webster and Lara Rostron. Thanks very much for joining us. Still to come on the programme tonight. Bare Necessities, the heartwarming moment young Freddie from Ossett finally got his hands on his long-awaited sculpture, and fellow fundraiser Rob Burrow was there to lend his support.
And it was warm and quite windy today, and many places saw quite a bit of rain, certainly over the Pennines earlier on. And I asked you for some fungi photos and you delivered plenty of them. All the detail a little later on.
A man who was extradited from Pakistan over the killing of PC Sharon Beshinivsky 18 years ago has pleaded not guilty to her murder. The 38-year-old mother of 3 had only been with the force for 9 months when she was killed. Her colleague PC Theresa Milburn was seriously injured. Pirandita Khan, who's 74, also denied 2 counts of possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life and 2 counts of possession of a prohibited weapon. He pleaded guilty to 1 charge of robbery.
Now, from an early age, we're told it's important to clean our teeth at least twice a day. Well, for some vulnerable people, their lives can actually depend on it.
Yes, people like 10-year-old Hibba from Leeds. She was born with a heart condition, which means the bacteria in her mouth could cause an infection so severe that it could kill her.
Hibba and her mum are now supporting a campaign to raise awareness, but there are concerns that a lack of NHS dentists across Yorkshire could hamper that vital message getting out there. Katie Oscroft reports from Leeds Children's Hospital.
Nahida knows that brushing Hibba's teeth could be a matter of life or death for a child like her daughter with a congenital heart condition. At best, poor dental hygiene could mean being hospitalised for several weeks. At worst, it could cause complications, which may prove fatal.
It is very important. Like I said, this infection is quite serious and you could lose a loved one.
Does Hibba mind having her teeth brushed?
No, she's all right now because we've got an electric toothbrush, so she does like the sound of it, so she doesn't mind brushing her teeth, do you?
Bacteria is present in everybody's mouth, but when you have a problem with your heart, that bacteria can cause this infection. It's really important for children and adults to be looking after their teeth. There are so many health implications involved here. It's just for us, the heart's so important.
Today, the launch of our fabulous new book.
Books produced by Leeds Children's Hospital are now being offered on wards to help spread Hibba's message. Charlie illustrated the version aimed at children. Her cousin's child Freddie had a heart condition. His illness made her family aware of the risks he faced.
I didn't actually realise the importance of it linked to the heart problem, so it's been a real eye-opener for me. And obviously we've had discussions about it as well, so yeah, it's really important, oral health care.
I only thought that it would just be your teeth that would be injured, and no, I didn't know.
The children's book is child friendly, obviously, and what we do is we talk about how teeth connect to the rest of your body, and what affects your teeth can then travel around to your heart and cause a problem.
But whilst the message to look after your teeth applies to people beyond this ward, dentists say a national shortage of those working for the NHS could lead to other health problems.
Trying to find NHS dentists like gold dust at the moment. We do understand there's many studies out there to show that there is a relationship between gum disease and heart conditions, Alzheimer's, cancer. Oral hygiene, brushing the teeth regularly, these are very important things to maintain not just a healthy mouth but also a healthy body as well.
You like that one, don't you?
Hibba will spend her 11th birthday and her brother's 16th in hospital until she finishes her latest treatment. Whilst she's there, her family want to use her time to encourage children everywhere to brush their teeth. Katie Oscroft, ITV News, Leeds.
Lovely to see Hibba there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. Now, Lara, I know you've got a very handsome dog. Let's just take a quick look at him.
This is George. That was George this morning.
Oh, love it. Well, none of us like to think about our pets being ill, but if George became unwell, how would you know how to help him out with CPR or something like that?
I wouldn't have a clue, to be honest, which is terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and apparently you're not alone there because there are 12 million households with a pet, but most say they wouldn't know how to approach animal first aid.
And that's something that campaigners want to change. Raheem Rashid has the story.
We love them like they're our own, but would we know what to do if our pets had a medical emergency? These dog walkers in Worksop said they'd struggle.
So it seems with humans, I would have thought massage it's art and stuff like that, not about getting it mouth to mouth.
Because you don't know what to do if your dog has an heart attack. I wouldn't know what to do.
We've never had an issue with it, so we haven't had to tackle it. Well, it's part of the family, isn't it? You need to look after them.
Despite low numbers nationally, demand for pet first aid classes has been rising.
And we want to use our whole body weight to be doing compressions. So we lean over the back of the dog, and like so, and then we want to be compressing 2/3 of the chest and doing 120 per minute. There's so many new pet owners after the pandemic, there's definitely much higher demand. As a human, you wouldn't do daycare and childcare and things like that without having kind of basic CPR knowledge for humans, so why should you be trusting people that are looking after your dogs that don't have any CPR training?
And there's a huge gap in pet first aid training, with 90% of owners having had none at all, 3/4 admitting they wouldn't know how to perform CPR on their animal, and more than half saying they wouldn't know what to do if their pet broke a bone.
Unfortunately, pets will have accidents and some pets may die. If we can empower more people with these skills, then we will make it more likely that pets will survive.
If you suspect your dog is choking, what we would do is we would hold behind her back legs and we put her in some sort of a wheelbarrow type position to see if gravity will help.
Emma's online lessons have been racking up millions of views, but she says many owners are desperately watching them because they've been caught out in a crisis, and warns in an emergency there won't always be a good Samaritan on hand to help.
I was walking my own dogs and I could see a woman in some distress, and I could see that there was trouble, so I came over to see if I could help her, and the dog had a stick stuck in its mouth and she just didn't know what to do. The dog was, of course, panicking and couldn't get the stick out. So I just tried to calm the situation first, get the dog close to me on the lead, and then just very gently ease the mouth open and take the stick out.
As Freya's first aid skills saved one lucky pet, it's hoped lessons like these will save more of our loved ones' lives.
And then we do a nice...
Raheem Rashid, ITV News.
Right then, George is going to have to go as a wheelbarrow, isn't he? Now, boxing fans from across the region will flock to the Sheffield Arena tomorrow night for a bumper bill of action.
Yes, Josh Warrington from Leeds will be looking to win a third world title, and Denneby's Terry Harper is aiming to retain her world crown.
Well, Chris Dawkes is there at the arena for us this evening. Good evening, Chris. It's going to be some night, isn't it?
Oh, Lara, it's going to be massive, yes. And this place really starting to take shape as well. The seats are being put in. The ring was put down this afternoon. They're expecting over 11,000 in this place tomorrow night. The atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric. As regards to boxing, well, this really is entering last chance saloon territory for Josh Warrington. He's lost two of his last 4 fights. He's going for a third world title against Lee Wood tomorrow night. Lose, and some are saying this could be the beginning of the end or even the end of his illustrious career. As regards Terry Harper, well, she steps into the ring with a bona fide legend of women's boxing, Cecilia Brookhouse. A win over her would be a significant notch on her belt. Well, earlier today, all the fighters weighed in at the Cutlers Hall in Sheffield City Centre. All made their respective weights, so no issues there. And to be honest, it was all quite sedate and respectful affair. No histrionics, no trash talking. Josh and Lee Wood even shaking hands at the end. It's what you like to see, even though there's so much at stake tomorrow night.
I need to win. I need to win. I'm not putting my mind under that pressure of telling myself that my career's on line or anything like that. All I'm doing is saying I've got to win. That's it.
Is the ambition still there for you?
Massively. I won't be doing it. Mark, if the day that I woke up and said, you know what, I'm not too sure, I'll call it a day.
I know I'm getting in the ring with a very seasoned, experienced fighter, Cecilia. She's been there, she's done it all, and I think this is the right step in point in my career where I can learn and take a lot from the fight on Saturday night, and it'll just help me then go on to go into the bigger fights and collect more belts.
It's going to be an exciting night now. Chris, there were big celebrations last night, not too far away from where you are now, weren't there?
Yeah, that's right, James, down at Ullerton Stadium. It was an epic and historic night for the Sheffield Tigers Speedway team. They were crowned Premiership champions for the first time ever. Never before have they won a top flight title in their 94-year history, and they did it in incredible circumstances. 18 points down from the first leg against Ipswich. This was a record-breaking comeback in a Premiership playoff final. And as you can imagine, the scenes afterwards, well, they were a sight to behold.
Look, I know people might say Sheffield Select, but the lads that we brought in come in, they bought into the club, they've given everything for it, everything and more that we could have wished for. So really pleased that we managed to do it, really pleased that we managed to do it here in front of our home supporters after last year as well.
And on to the rest of the sport, Chris. It sounds like there could be a really tasty rugby league match this Sunday.
Yeah, a real grudge match this, Lara, as the Leeds Rhinos take on York Valkyrie in the Women's Super League Grand Final. It's a repeat of the final from last year in which Leeds won. Now, Leeds are the only team York have dropped points to this season, and the Valkyries' England international Tara Jane Stanley says she's desperate to avenge that defeat 12 months ago.
I wanted to play Leeds Rhinos because there is still that part of me that feels like we, as a squad, and there's a few players in the team that have been beat against Leeds Rhinos in finals. Winning on Sunday would mean everything.
You want to hear teams that they want to play us in a grand final, and I personally think that says a lot about us and the club, the badge and the team as well. So we want to keep the title from last year, and last thing we want to see is York lifting that. So we've got unfinished business and we're going to go and do our job.
Finally from me, some football, and Darren Moore returns to Hillsborough for the first time since leaving Sheffield Wednesday back in June. Moore is now the manager of Huddersfield Town and will be looking to rack up his first win since taking charge of the Terriers last month. Wednesday are without a manager themselves following the sacking of Moore's replacement Xisco Munoz earlier this week.
I'm really looking forward to it. For me, it's another fixture. Going back into that arena, I've got no problem. I'm just seeing, and the group of players will just see the game for the game and not the occasion, really. So for me, I'm looking forward to going back and being back in the arena.
So a big weekend of sport throughout the region. We, of course, will have the best of the action on Monday night's calendar.
Thanks very much, Chris. It sounds great.
Yeah, it does. Well, Kerry is here with us now in studio. Kerry.
Wet
but warm today.
Yeah, by around 9 o'clock this morning, it was 17, 18 Celsius for many parts of the region, but some really heavy rain, particularly over the Dales and over the western Pennines where we had some light flooding. But certainly by this afternoon, a few rainbows. So slowly improving, yes, we are still looking at a very weekend. The average 14-15, and by the time we reach tomorrow, highs will be about 21, 22 Celsius. Can't promise all sunshine though, so variable amounts of cloud, but there will be some clear spells, and probably for the second half of Sunday, which is great for the Draconid's meteor shower, which peaks Sunday into Monday. Look up, face north in the late evening. If you don't want to look up, look down. Yesterday we were talking about the warm and wet conditions creating plenty of mushrooms. Whose garden is this one?
I recognise those ones.
So this is your lawn and you got a few visitors.
Just a few, yeah.
You're not the only one. We also had Phil and Jill in Thorpe Willoughby. They've had plenty of mushrooms. Cliff Pearson in Doncaster, plenty. Of course, Flyer Gerrick, the common toadstool. A big thank you to June Hornby for this one in Moulton. And they've got some funny names, haven't they? Flyer Gerrick. This one's a shaggy parasol in East Yorkshire. This one is a shaggy mane.
Yeah.
And look at this one, candle snuff with a little character there. Looks like Indiana Jones. A big thank you to Stephen Abbott, who basically said that he's created fungi. Donny Steve. I'm not sure if Donny Steve is Stephen Abbott or the fungi, but brilliant. Thanks for bringing them towards our attention.
Our director likes that one. I can hear her chuckling in my ear.
Absolutely brilliant.
Thanks, Kerry.
Thank you.
Now, an 11-year-old born with both heart and liver disease has raised some £12,000 for the hospital where he was treated and has been rewarded with a life-size bear. Freddie MacDonald from Ossett has been cared for by Leeds Teaching Hospital since he was diagnosed with a rare syndrome as a baby. Now, to give back, he bid at a charity auction for the polar bear, which had been on display in Leeds as part of the Bear Hunt Trail. Today, it was unveiled at his school, Southdale Junior, supported by a very special guest, the former rugby player and MND campaigner, Rob Burrow.
It feels good and I'm proud. I hope it'll be used for an inspiration.
I only decided 4 weeks ago that we were going to bid on him and raise money to get him. So, and it just spiralled and we got a lot of support, raised £12,000 and I'm really happy it's here now. It feels like it's at home again.
I think it's just really inspiring, I think, to come here today and, listen to Freddie's story, and I think for them to give something back, means a lot to the family, and it's brilliant to be here today.
Congratulations to Rob himself as well, to Lindsay and to their great friend Kevin on being chosen as winners of a special award for the ITV Pride of Britain Awards. They'll be presented with the award at a gala dinner on Sunday. I'll be down there with pictures coming on next week's programmes.
It's very well deserved. Here's Kerry now with the weather.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. Yes, it really wasn't that nice for our North and West Yorkshire Pennines during the course of today. A lot of cloud around, but still with a few breaks and a few rainbows mixed in with those showery breaks and brighter spells during the course of the day. Of course, the drier and brighter weather came in from the south, and that's where our weather is coming as we head into the weekend. Good news, mostly dry, exceptionally warm or certainly unseasonably warm for the time of year, but with variable amounts of cloud and some low cloud over the hills. So the weather front that caused all the problems today, staying to the north, really unsettled actually for northern parts of the UK into the weekend, but we just import that warmer air, and for most of us we should be dry. Got to get through the first half of the night though, and still some showery outbreaks, heavy at times pushing in to northern and western areas, so certainly over the Pennines bearing the brunt I think for much of the night, but into the early hours, drier, clearer, winds becoming a little lighter but still gusty and blustery for the coast, the hills with some low cloud here. So a mild start as we head into the weekend. 7:18 and 6:29 are your sun times for Saturday. Saturday will be dry, still quite a bit of cloud around to northern parts, especially over the Dales first thing in the morning, some low cloud, but it will brighten up, it will be dry, and into the afternoon just a light breeze and temperatures well above the average of 14-15. We're looking at low 20s, certainly to southern parts as we head through into the afternoon. Still a bit of a breeze, but it's from that very warm direction. Everything unsettled stays to the north of the UK as we head into Sunday, importing a little bit of cloud with a southeasterly breeze though, so we'll start to see things improve from the south-southwest as the afternoon progresses, and once more in the sunshine, temperatures will be into the 20s Celsius. Staying mostly dry with variable amounts of cloud over the coming few days, probably more unsettled from midweek.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
There you go, coat free. We can definitely do something with this weekend, that is for sure.
Nice and warm, and it could be the last weekend, couldn't it, that it's warm?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Well, have a good one, whatever you're doing. Good night.
Bye-bye. Thanks
Bye.
for watching.